Wow, was a bit. Get along, get along.
Long last look.
30 left. 30 left. Long.
Upper. Yeah, now it. This guy's out.
I'm low. He's out?
Yeah, he's out.
Good job. Hop down.
We have. Whew.
Tournament, because although some people do fancy them as a bit of a dark horse or maybe even the favorites, etc., they're still not proven here just yet at the Antwerp Major itself. Outsiders, they went 3-1, and in all honesty, they could have gone 3-0. They weren't too far off that mantle. There's two ways of looking at it. One, if a team is kind of a dead team walking, that can be definitely a negative that can bring them down, have bad performances. Yakindar's trying to escape into his monitor right now to escape the cameras, I guess. But the other aspect of that as well is if Yakindar is going to go ahead and leave and go elsewhere to greener pastures, this is a chance for him to put himself in the shop window. Yeah, and say, look, this is what I can bring to your team. Get me involved.
Absolutely, and he has had overall a quieter past few weeks, right? We know how explosive he can be. In
terms of that aggression and those opening picks. So can you kind of just give me a summary? Did they satiate your taste in that challenger stage?
I think D-Haw actually stepped up in a couple of the games I saw. Actually, Modern did too, but I still think that Modern puts himself in a box with this lineup that he didn't when he was playing with FPX and Godsend. He had a lot more autonomy on that lineup, and I think right now he's getting used to the slightly more rigid style that Snappy is throwing in his direction, and so I really still think he can be the X factor for this team. But
so the farewell tour of 2021 is going to be quite the interesting match to close on out. It isn't two teams that I thought we would see in the final. You went with Astralis.
Okay, yeah, we should talk about that.
I went with VP, and actually quite a few of the smart...
that they haven't had in the past, and that's the big thing, especially with a guy like Simple. I know Duncan touched on the fact that Nitro in the past was very much wanted to switch out of this entry fragger role that he's so suited to, and now you have Peacemaker coming in, and you know, talking to the Team Liquid guy, even Hiko acknowledges it. Him and Simple and Peacemaker have had their heads butt frequently when they're in boot camping, when they're
situation. Esatag coming in, they've addressed the language scenario threat. He's going as the coach as well, so a lot of things are changing there.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so the farewell tour of 2021 is going to be quite the interesting match to close on out. It isn't two teams that I thought we would see in the final. You went with Astralis.
Okay, yeah, we should talk about that.
I went with VP, and actually quite a few of the smart cookies on the desk decided to go with Vitality, and they're the ones who are
that semi-final a little more while they do resolve any issues over on stage. You've got to have that perfect playing environment, of course, when you've got so much on the line. Not only is it, you know, trying to retain this legendary aura surrounding you, but also the opportunity to get closer to that $1 million prize pool. It's a whole lot of money, not a bad chunk of change. And we're going to be talking now as to the coach.
I want to get on the way because this is going to be such a fun time. They were booing Hunter already. I've got to say, that's bold.
Didn't learn their lesson the first time. Anders didn't learn their lesson. That only fired him up. So if you're a Heroic fan right now, you need to be maybe calming down when you're booing Hunter at least. The rest of the team, fine, but just don't piss off Hunter because he absolutely murked his opponents last time that happened.
Yeah, he really did. Oh, it's going to be such a good time.
And especially given the fact that everybody on Heroic is stepping up. That's the true beauty of this.